Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new and you'd like to hear about opinions, reviews, analyses, and ramblings on films, books, and TV shows, be sure to click that subscribe button for more content from me. Today we're doing my film rankings of 2023. So we already did my book rankings, which is linked down below if you haven't seen it yet. So these are the films that I've watched for the very first time in 2023, and not all of them were necessarily released within this past year. So for this video, we're doing a full top 10 because I watched so many films this year for the first time. So let's get into it. Coming in at number 10, we have Pearl, which is a horror film. So the overall aesthetic of Pearl is why it's in my top 10. Also the technical aspects, because the way this film was shot definitely made you feel like you were watching a film in the 40s. So the thing is, this movie takes place in 1918, but the overall style was giving like a demented, twisted Wizard of Oz with like way more murder. So just the film major in me is just living for like this technicolor, murdery Wizard of Oz vibes. Plus, like, Mia Goth's like monologue at the end of the film was just so good. Like, if I was in her sister-in-law's like shoes, I would just be so shook and trying not to react, but like Mia Goth just killed it with that monologue. Plus, we do love a good like antagonist origin story, hence why this film is at number 10. Coming in at number 9, we have The Batman, which is an action comic book movie. I like this portrayal of Batman, okay? Like, Robert Pattinson is great. He's sad. He's pathetic. He's goth. He's wet. He's a pathetic little meow meow, and I love it. Because honestly, like, for far too long, we keep seeing, like, a lot of, Batman, like, Bruce Wayne, being, like, this suave billionaire playboy. Listen, he dresses up as a bat to fight people, to, like, work through his trauma of watching his parents get murdered in front of him. He's not gonna be suave, guys. And I love that he's not suave in this one. He's awkward. And like I said, I love it. And so I watched the Batman, with my brother. And when we got to the part where he says, "I am vengeance," I was dying. Like, we had to pause it because we were dying of laughter. Like, I know it's meant to be like, like serious and edgy, but like it was too funny for me. I couldn't take him seriously, but I loved it. And I do like this take on Batman. Like, he's not like a veteran, he's still like a rookie essentially. He's figuring this all out, and they're focusing more on his detective side because, hey, he is known as the world's greatest detective, so I love that that's what they're focusing on with like this reboot of Batman. And I love it, and I would also very much like to see Robin in a sequel because, like, in my opinion, Batman works well, like, yeah, sure, with the Justice League, but Batman and Robin, like, that's a duo, that's a father-son duo that, like, you need. So, Batman's at number 9. Number 8, we have Bullet Train, which is an action and comedy film. So, Bullet Train, is it a good film? No, it's not, but it's a vibe. I chose this movie because of its vibe, and we love the vibe, okay? Like, insane, by the way, that this took place on a train and everyone's trying to kill each other. And I remember when I went to log this film onto my Letterboxd, someone commented, like, they left a Letterboxd review on this film, and they go, "Rest in peace, Agatha Christie, you would have loved Bullet Train." And I'm like, yeah, she definitely would have. And like I said, this movie was it was such a fun time. Like, if you want to watch something that doesn't involve like a lot of thinking and has pretty decent like fight sequences, like, I liked Bullet Train. I think it's like a great film to watch because, again, not much thinking, you're just there for the vibes. Embrace the vibes and you'll enjoy this film like I did. Then coming in at number 7, we have Scream 2, which is a slasher horror and a sequel. So I am like 20 years late to this party, but Scream 2 has to be one of those like rare sequels that outshines its predecessor, and I'm being serious about that because I love the twist on Ghostface. Like, it was amazing. And then we got Timothy Olyphant, like, he was great. And that being said, rest in peace to my boy Randy. absolutely devastated when he died. He will forever be missed, okay? And also, like, when I was watching this, because, like, I think I finally, this was the year I finally watched every single film in the Scream franchise, because for the longest time I could only do Scream 1, and then I finally started to watch the rest of the films in the franchise, and you don't really realize how many actors and actresses were in Scream, like in the Scream franchise, until you watch all the films, because I'm like, that's a lot of people that I recognize now, like, it's insane. At number 6, we have Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. So this is an animation action comic book movie. So I'm not gonna lie, I cried a lot during this film, and I'm not ashamed to admit it, okay? Because listen, Miles Morales is out here trying his best, okay? He's trying to change his fate, and just because there's a canon event doesn't mean he needs to have that canon event. And him not having that canon event doesn't mean he's not worthy of being Spider-Man, because he is Spider-Man. And just like this whole idea of fighting fate and the universe, like it gets me. And then the way that it ended, oh my gosh, like Miles in the wrong universe and he meets his alter universe self where he's the Prowler. I was shook, and I need the sequel ASAP. Please and thank you. But that being said, please pay these animators a lot of money, okay? I know, like, that's why there's a lot of delays too with the sequel. But let these animators take their time, but also like pay them a lot of money, because the visuals were absolutely stunning, like off the charts. I honestly, I don't think I've seen a better animated film than Across the Spider-Verse and Into the Spider-Verse, honestly. So the colors, the visuals, chef's kiss. So that's at number 6. Now we're getting closer to my top 5. So we're now in my top 5, and at number 5 we have John Wick Chapter 4. So this is an action film. I finally hopped on the John Wick train this year. I've been meaning to, and I finally got into it because my other brother told me, hey, you should watch it. I'm like, okay, cool, I should. And of all of them, I will have to say that Chapter 4 is my favorite. So, watching the franchise, I'm going to speak about the franchise as a whole, I still abide by the fact that if they just left this man and his dog alone, like, he wouldn't have had to kill all these people. But alas, people are not good at leaving him alone. So, Chapter 4, it is honestly the most visually stunning of all the John Wick films, and using Paris as the battleground was truly an amazing decision, because it works so well. So I visited Paris this year, and every time like I visited a location that I recognized from the film, like, yes, like in John Wick. And obviously, like with this franchise, you gotta like suspend your disbelief, because he does have quite a bit of plot armor. But this film, John Wick Chapter 4, is in my top 5 purely for the visuals. So I looked it up. So the cinematographer for this film, Dan Laustsen, he deserves a raise, honestly. So I checked out his Wikipedia page to see what else he worked on, because I was curious. And so he was also the cinematographer for John Wick 2 and 3, as well as Crimson Peak and The Shape of Water. So like this guy's got like a lot of great films like in his filmography. So I'm like, I'll check it out. And even if you don't watch John Wick for the plot, like just the camera angles, the shots, the colors, it's just absolutely breathtaking and just visually stunning. So yeah, that's why it's like my number 5 favorite film of 2023. Coming in at number 4 is Red, White, and Royal Blue. So this is a romance, comedy, adaptation, and LGBTQIA film. So I already made a video on this, so I'll keep this part like pretty short. But it's just a really cute rom-com. Like, it's not a great adaptation, but like I've already mentioned, I choose to see this as a fan fiction of the book, and so I liked it. I loved it. And it is perfectly casted. You know, you got Nicholas Galitzine and Taylor Zakhar Perez. Like, they have this crazy chemistry. And the hands, guys, just... the hands to portray the yearning and the pining a la Pride and Prejudice 2005. Just... Still not over it, sorry. I'm still not over Red, White, and Royal Blue. And I loved it because it's a fun love story, and we do need more, like, LGBTQ rom-coms that are cheesy and cringy, like, you know, in the 2000s. But the 2000s rom-coms are very, like, heterosexual, very heteronormative. So to have more LGBT, like, rom-coms in the same vein, I think it would be really like great. And yeah, red, white, royal blue, love it. So we're coming down to my top three now, and my number three and my number two, they're kind of interchangeable, and it's because I associate them greatly with each other. So number three, we got Barbie, and number two, we have Oppenheimer. So Barbie is comedy and drama, and Oppenheimer is like historical question. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's historical. I can't say historical fiction because there's a lot of stuff there that did happen, so I don't know, but like it's historical. Let's go drama, historical drama. All right, so again, these two are interchangeable at number two and number three. So like honestly, Barbie could be number two, Oppenheimer could be number three, Barbie could be number three, Oppenheimer could be number two, because they're both so good. And like I said before, I associate these two films with each other because I watched them both the same day, and Barbenheimer is like one of the greatest events of 2023. Like for a film event, like this is great, honestly. So Barbie, it was a funny film with great vibes. So we were promised pink and 90s-esque vibes, and they delivered. Also, the film did have like a lot of great moments where it was emotional, and the emotional moments don't feel out of place, because I feel that in comedy and drama films there's always like a fine line, like there's always a great balance between comedy and drama, like the emotional moments. So they really like hit a chord when the emotional moments did happen. And like I said, I already did a video on this. I'm gonna keep this short. I cried a lot, and this was the same film where I popped out a contact during the film. So but just like, you know, the fact that it was a comedy and a drama, and you know, all of the themes that they discussed in Barbie, it really appealed to me. So I loved it. I loved it 100%. Oppenheimer was just so visually stunning and edited beautifully. Like, again, I already talked about this in a previous video, but the use of the Kuleshov effect in Oppenheimer, it's used like so many times in the film, and just the overall technical aspects is absolutely like beautiful, breathtaking. I love the switch between like the past and the present, and showing that switch with like the colored scenes in black and white. And I can honestly wax poetic about the visual aspects of this film for hours, but I'm not gonna do that just because like I'm not gonna like make this video last for hours. But honestly, like Oppenheimer and Barbie, both visually stunning, and I definitely recommend those two films if you for some reason have not seen it yet. Like they're both great, both great. Which brings me to my number one film. And what exactly is my number one film of 2023? Well, my number one film of 2023 is none other than Scream 6, which is a slasher horror and yet another sequel. So if anyone is curious, by the time Scream 6 came out, after Scream 6 came out, my Scream rankings are as follows: 6, 2, 3, 1, 4, and 5. The opening sequence. The opening sequence of Scream 6 was it was a ride, okay? So obviously it takes place in New York, and then the person that we thought was Ghostface, who killed Samara Weaving's character. Side note, rest in peace to my favorite final girl. She was final girl in Ready or Not. You know, and she was killed by Ghostface. And I was like, the disrespect though. Like, I was like, that was the only thing that pissed me off about the opening sequence, was like the disrespect. Because Samara Weaving did not battle her Satan worshipping in-laws in Ready or Not and like survive all that just to be killed off in like the first 10 minutes of Scream 6. That's the only like critique I have about this film, but rest in peace to her. So the Ghostface who killed her was revealed, like they revealed who that Ghostface was, and he ends up getting killed by the real Ghostface, which freaking insane. I was like, dude, that was like the most insane opening sequence for Scream that I've ever seen. Because like obviously you always have like first person who gets killed in the Scream movies, but you don't have the twist of like another Ghostface popping up to kill that Ghostface. Like it's insane. And like I said, the opening sequence it had me hooked and guessing who Ghostface could be, especially because like in the film they're tying a lot of the murders to like the previous Ghostfaces. So the Ghostface from like, you got Billy and Stu, Mrs. Loomis, and I forgot Timothy Olyphant's character's name, Sydney's half-brother in 3, Jill? Was it Jill? Yes, Jill from 4, and one of the Culkin brothers, I forgot his name. And then 5, you had Amber and Richie. So like that was just insane. And again, it was filled with twists, as a lot of the Scream films are, but I was not mad at the reveal of the ghost faces because it made sense. And I also loved that they finally stopped killing major characters, because rest in peace to my boy Randy still. Moment of silence. I'm like, honestly, here's the thing. I'm glad that Chad is still alive, okay? Because I can only handle one Neek's death, and I'm clearly still not over Randy's death to this day. It's been 20 years, I'm still not over it. I mean, like, to me, I watched it like months ago, but I'm still not over it, okay? Still not over it. So why is this a number 1? Like, not only because, like, I love Scream, but here's the thing. The Scream franchise has definitely had the biggest impact on me, like, as a film lover. Like, Scream was why I ended up liking horror films in the first place. Like, for the longest time, I could not watch horror films. Like, I'm gonna get nightmares. But Scream is just so, like, well done, and it has such a an impact in our pop culture, in our culture. So like I loved it, and I love the meta-ness of its films, and that really resonated with me. So this was like, also Scream 6 is such a huge step up from Scream 5. Like, Scream 5 was definitely not my favorite, but Scream 6 was a huge step up, and that's why it's like my number 1 film of 2023. That, and the fact that I could not stop thinking about Scream 6 for like weeks after I watched it. For me, I like to rate how great a film is based on how long I still think about it after I finish watching it. So the fact that I, like, for weeks I was still thinking about Scream 6, that's why it's my number 1 film of 2023. Okay. And yeah, that's a wrap on my film rankings of 2023. So my next video is going to be a show spiel, and it's going to be my review on the Percy Jackson and the Olympians TV series. So this is going to be like, probably my review is going to be up till episode 4 or 5, which is like about halfway through the season, and that's going to be up by the middle of January. Thank you guys so much for watching, and like, truly, like, all of the views, likes, comments, and the subscribers that I've gained this year, like, thank you so much, because your support means the world to me. I hope you all have an amazing new year, have an awesome day, and please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. See you guys next year. Bye.